Boigweda himself had settled in Petauke district of Eastern Province, unaware that he had held a vital piece to a historical puzzle until recently when he traveled to Lusaka. He gave an account of the events surrounding Maina Soko's killing. One day in 1965, when Boigweda was 17 years old and in 3rd grade, he was told to escort his grandmother to Chirundu. Maina Soko was in the early stage of developing leprosy, and at Chikankata was a mission hospital specialized in treating the disease. According to Boigweda, he, Maina Soko, and her younger brother, called William Kandoko, left their village called Ndolo on the fringes of the Zambezi River in Chiawa area early one morning. The mission was to travel upriver on the Zambezi by canoe to Chirundu, since vehicles never reached the area at the time, and then travel by road to reach Chikankata. By this time, Maina had already been widowed many years and was living with her younger brother, William. She had been married to Enoch Manenga, who had later also married his older brother's wife after he died. There is no photograph of Maina Soko, but Boigweda described her as slightly built and light in complexion. It is also not clear how old Maina Soko was when she died, but the birth year on her younger brother William's national registration card shows that he was born in 1918. Maina Soko could not have been very old. We carried some mealie meal and blankets and started off, recalls Boigweda. He says about midday, he said to Maina Soko, "I'm hungry. Can we stop over to eat?" They got off the canoe and, gathering some sticks, made a fire and prepared a meal. But my grandmother did not eat, says Boigweda. After their brief stop, they proceeded on the journey, but would be violently interrupted. In the evening, Boigweda heard a single gunshot from an island called Humaile, which is near the confluence of the Zambezi and Kafue River, across the border with Zimbabwe. "Maine nalasiwa, I've been shot," Boigweda heard his grandmother cry. He says his uncle William immediately jumped out of the boat and swam across the river. But Boigweda managed to paddle the boat to the edge of the river and tied it to some reeds, then attended to his grandmother. "I didn't want to leave my grandmother inside the boat, so I lifted her out and laid her on the bank of the river," he says. A bullet had entered Maina Soko's body through her back and she could not stand. With a little breath remaining in her, Maina Soko told her grandson to run for his life. "I ran, and after a short distance, I looked behind to see if my grandmother was following me. She beckoned me with her hand to move on," says Boigweda. Frightened, the boy took flight into the thick bush, along the river, and decided to follow the only sign of human presence: a cluster of lights in the distance. For night had now fallen. Soon, he burst into a police station and reported the shooting. Boigweda remembers one of the police officers who attended to the case. His name was Kayot Kamba.